Hello everybody out there, welcome, and it's another Facebook Live from Karen at Nurture Parenting. Now I am quite tired today, so I apologise for my tardiness again. I was at a night shift last night and I had twins, 6-month-old twins, to teach how to settle in their cots. Now these little twins, a boy and a girl, 6 months old, and they'd come over from the UK and especially for me to do some sleep training. Obviously they'll come to see their family as well, but quite a big deal to come over from the UK to do sleep training with a girl they've not met before, and we're staying in an Airbnb over at Clovelly, so that was very nice, but I didn't get to see much of the view. So slightly tired today because I rushed in from my overnight stay, had to do a heap of phone calls and etc, and emails, and then I didn't get finished till about 12:30, and then I managed to get a little nana nap on the bed for 3/4 of an hour, so yes, quite tired today, so hopefully the makeup is covering all the tiredness up. Now if you'd like to send me some love hearts to let me know that you're all here, I would really appreciate some love hearts. The reason being is, not that Karen's looking for more love, she doesn't need any more love in her life, I get lots of love, but the reason being is that when you do a Facebook Live and you give me love hearts, then Facebook gives me more brownie points and we'll put it up on your feed. So I love the likes, but if you can send me some love hearts, Karen would be even happier today. Oh, I love the love hearts. Thank you so much. It's very cheeky of me, I know. I don't often ask for things, but I figure that if you don't ask, you don't get, do you? So I believe in asking. So thank you universe. They've arrived. I like it. So hopefully I'll be on the top of everybody's Facebook feed, which would be very, very nice. And as per usual today, I've got like masses of questions have come in. My diary is like, oh my goodness. And I have some really, really good news. I've taken on a girl Friday. She's my office angel and she's called Triska. So welcome to Triska. I am so grateful to have Triska. So if you want to send some more love hearts out for Triska, I'd be very happy for you to send the love hearts for Triska as well. Triska has got a 6-month-old little boy called Charlie. So Triska knows all about babies and sleep and lack of it. So when she does the phone calls to say hi to new clients and to welcome you to Nurture Parenting and to help organise a date to see myself or a phone consult or whatever, then Triska will know exactly what you're going through. And Triska had to go and have some sleep work done with her little baby when he was about 3 months old. So Triska is all over this and knows exactly what is going on with you parents out there, you mums out there and your babies. So welcome to Triska. I am, like I say, highly grateful for Triska. So today we're announcing the competition winner of the Village Toys competition from last week. And the lucky winner is Laura Sheeder. So Laura's got 2 little girls. She's got Matilda, who is nearly coming up to 2.5, 3, and she's got Beatrix, who is just over 1 now. Now Matilda had to go for open heart surgery recently, so been through a lot of big stuff as Laura and her family. I met Laura with her family when Matilda was about 6 months, just over 6 months old, and did the initial bit of sleep training. So quite a big deal to do sleep training on a little girl who's got a heart defect. So I think Laura was a very deserving winner of that Village Toys Facebook Live prize from Nurture Parenting and Village Toys. So yay to Laura, congratulations Laura, and well deserved. I can't wait to see and hear what you buy with your voucher. I'm sure it'll be something totally amazing. Hi to Michelle, both boys are asleep for now, love it. How's Charlie going, Michelle? Hope Charlie's going well. Waving the wand for Charlie. Amy, hi Amy, how's things going with you? Your new little one. Hope things are going really well. So you've made it to Facebook Live. Excellent, with a new baby and just over a week old. Incredible. So I'm going to get into today's competition and then I'm going to start with the questions. So we're going to get into it all smartish. So this week I'm going to give away another prize because I think prizes are good and it's good karma. So I'm going to give away my baby massage book with embedded video. And I'm going to add a video extra on top of that, so you've got a video that you can share with a friend if you want to, because I believe in giving out good karma and good things to people. Pass it forward and it just brings more good karma and more good things in the universe. Now, I'm big into baby massage, as you know. I did this baby massage book just over maybe about a year and a half or so ago. And it is something that I really believe in. On every visit I do with a young baby under 6 months of age, I will demonstrate baby massage to the parents, because when you do baby massage, it helps that baby get to sleep and sleep for up to an hour longer every day, which is, like, to me, it's like massive. I think personally that everybody deserves a massage. Parents, babies, everybody. Karen even, I think she did one this week, really. So massage is crucial to sleep. It is crucial to development. It helps with spatial awareness. It is like the biggest thing, and it is probably one of my favourite things. So yes, I love doing baby sleep and helping babies sleep, but massage is where you get to give something back. So today I'm going to give the baby massage book away with an extra video for a friend, so you can pass it forward. So what you've got to do to win this lucky prize is to like this post on Facebook Live, to like the video, and then to like Nurture Parenting's Facebook page. They're the only two things that you have to do today. So just like this post, this video, and like Nurture Parenting's Facebook page. And you never know, you could be a lucky winner. And it is, like I say, it's an amazing prize. I love the baby massage book and the video. It's one of my most favouriteest things. It's also available on iBooks, and it's also available on my online store. So hopefully we'll have a lucky winner, and I can't wait to reveal who it is next week. So exciting! So let's get into today's Facebook Live. So last week we talked about babies and emotions, and I know it's a big sticking point with many people. Now, I know that many parents worry about sleep training and babies and crying and letting babies cry full stop, and I know a lot of this starts in the hospital, where you're told never let that baby cry. If the baby cries, pick it up, see to the baby, do something with the baby, feed the baby. Now sometimes babies cry just because, so if we end up picking them up all the time, I know newborns need a lot of attention, but if we're talking long term, 5, 6, 12 months age, then you get yourself into a bit of trouble. And those parents with twins certainly couldn't afford to keep on picking their babies up all the time. So we need to talk about what sort of crying, what crying's okay, what crying we can leave, but help that baby to have its emotions. And I think there's a lot of confusion out there, and so as a result, parents try and stop crying at any cost. And I think that's what's causing a lot of the sleep problems out there. Now, there's this great little Bible that I go by, and it is Tears and Tantrums by Aletha Salter. Okay, it's a hard book to get hold of. You can only get hold of it on Amazon, and it only comes in a hard copy. You can't get it on the Kindle. It's basically got all the information on there that gives me permission to do what I do for a job, to allow babies to cry, but help them, support them, and manage their emotions, so we're not repressing them. A lot of what we do is control patterns of keeping emotions inside, keeping crying inside, and then we're not allowing that baby to feel heard. Imagine how you would feel yourself if somebody kept saying, stop, 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 I'm not listening, stop. And that's exactly what happens when we keep on putting the boob in the mouth, the dummy in the mouth, we're patting them, we're doing everything to stop the crying. So we need to be aware of these control patterns, because they are really becoming quite problematic. And I read some recent research that's over in the UK at the moment, that in the last 14 years that sleep problems have risen tenfold. So since Karen left England, I'm not saying it's just because I left England, but since Karen left England, the sleep problems in the UK have multiplied tenfold. So it's not just here in Australia now that we're experiencing all these sleep problems. And once you've got sleep problems with babies, then you've got sleep problems potentially with toddlers, then with adults. So I think it's something that globally we need to really help and manage and help families in a much better way. So Tears and Tantrums, it is a great read. It is a bit of a, it is a big read. It's an academic read. It's not particularly well edited in parts, but I love this book, and I love Aletha Salter. PhD psychologist, and she trained with Piaget. So I mentioned last week that I'd just talk a little bit about emotions and how we help children with their emotions. So I use books a lot on my visits to families. This is one of my all-time faves, My Big Shouting Day by Rebecca Pattison. and it is fun, it's dramatic, and well, often when I give this out on visits, kids want this book to be read 6 times, obviously with full drama included. This is another book that I love, In My Heart, and it's really sort of beautiful inside. You can see lots of lovely love hearts, so we're having a bit of a love heart theme today from Karen, giving all the love and the emotions out today. So I think that's so important. And lastly, something else I mentioned last week I want to show you about. Oops, let me pick this heavy little thing up here. Okay, so this is Trace Moroney that I mentioned from last week, the When I'm Feeling collection. And these are all the little books that she does. She does anger, she does sad, she does scared, When I'm Feeling kind, etc, etc. So who knows, one of these days on Facebook Live, I may well give that little collection out. So that would be very exciting, wouldn't it? So I think that's an amazing little collection. And they also come in singletons as well, the Trace Moroney books. Beautifully illustrated and really help give words for those emotions. Yep, Michelle, I love them. They're really great books, aren't they? They're incredible. Hello, Lauren. Welcome to you. Okay, who else have I got here today? Bree. Hello, Bree. Hope your little bump is growing nicely. I'm sure it is. And Renee, Elizabeth. Okay, we're in bath time, Renee, with Elizabeth. Excellent. Yeah, Charlie's going well. Excellent. 2 thumbs up for Charlie. And tell Chris, well done. Because I know that was a big one. Okay, and Raj. Hello to Raj. Hope your girls are doing well, love. Hope things are all good with you. I've not seen you for ages, so we must meet up and have a chat and a coffee. I'd love to hear how things are going, both with your girls and with your uni degree and your teaching. So I hope it's all going really well. So I'm going to come back to Renee Elizabeth in a bit. So I'm going to just start with some of the questions I've got in so far. Hello, Melinda. Welcome. Hope things are okay with you. Okay, so I'm starting first with Kelly and Reese. So Kelly, I met her through a Skype consult. She lives up in North Queensland. And she's done amazingly with her little boy. This is baby number 3. And he was tricky baby number 3, which Charmaine Briggs will know all about with her little boy Angus, if Charmaine is listening. And Reese was a really tough one to help with his sleep. He was just all over the shop. And now he's doing amazingly well. And we want to keep him that way. So waving the wand up to North Queensland there for Kelly and Reese. So Kelly is going away on a holiday, which I think is a well-deserved treat for everything that, you know, she's been through. I know she's had a bit of a hard year, and we need to just, you know, reward ourselves with a little bit of a holiday, a little bit of a treat. But she's really worried about Reese and just how she's going to manage travelling with homemade baby food. And I know this is a really common problem. Hello, Raj, got your message, thank you. I'll come and see you over next week, tomorrow. Busy, maybe next. Okay, excellent, I look forward to it. Let's have coffee, love. So, she says, unfortunately, Bubba Reese will still require purees when we go away in a month. And he will be too established with his diet to skip protein, etc. in meals. I agree. Because if you don't give protein in the meals, then they're not going to sleep. And fat is also extremely important. If your brain isn't getting fat, then it's not going to grow well. So the balance of like this nutrition is so important. She's never travelled with a baby's age before, and there will be a couple of days he's out all day long. Veg and fruit aren't a problem, but how do I safely take along animal proteins like chicken, his favourite, and cheese, for example, when I won't have microwaves or other appliances around to reheat? Is there a safe substitute I should consider? Maybe chia puddings or red lentil dishes? Thoughts? So, I'm going to give you a few little tips now. Now I can hear the gardener outside making some really loud noises in our strata complex. I hope it's not going to drown me out. Anyway, let's just continue. Real live filming, this is what happens, and you can't tell the gardener to be quiet. So what does Kelly do with Reese? So I've got a really great blog on no cook purees, and Julie, will you direct Kelly to that blog for no cook purees, please? That would be really amazing. Because you're absolutely right. When you go into abroad, there might not be ways to keep sort of meat safe, to keep other things safe, and heat obviously will grow bacteria. So we can't give things obviously like chicken and rice, etc. You've got to be really, really careful. So I would look at things like avocado. Take an avocado out with you. I would take some ready prepared sachets out with you as well. Now, as people know, Karen's love of sachets is not really a love of sachets. I have a love-hate with them, and I call them kitchen cupboard drugs, because many of them are full of things like fruit juice and fruit and vegetable puree, but not much substance. So when you look at the actual percentage of protein or of carbs, it's actually really low. So a lot of them only have maybe 5 or 7% protein, and same with carbs. Now, how is that baby going to sleep off that? They're not. And I wonder whether sometimes the manufacturers do this to make babies eat more of these sachets. That's just my conspiracy theory. Anyway, so I would be taking avocado with you, Kelly. I would be taking wheat bix out with you as well, because again, that is really high in tryptophan, in low glycemic index carbohydrate. It's high in iron and is a great filler. I would be taking some cheese out as well. So hopefully you've got some fridge there in your hotel room. If not, see if the hotel will store it for you. But having grated cheese on hand would be a great idea as well. Peanut butters, nut butters. So we're looking at things like peanut butter, almond butter. We're looking at macadamia nut butter, etc. So all the nut butters. So try these things before you go, just to make sure there isn't a food reaction when you're away, because that's the last thing you want. And it takes about 2 or 3 days to show a food reaction. Now, interesting research out there as well as to the reason why you should be giving nut butters before 6 months. If you give peanut butter and other nut butters before 6 months, you can decrease the incidence of nut allergy by 80%. 80, which is like massive. So we should be getting the word out there that we should be giving our babies peanut butter, smooth peanut butter, before 6 months of age. The same applies to cooked egg. So if you give cooked egg before 6 months, you can decrease egg allergy by 80%. Massive. So the gut before 6 months is more porous, so we need to think about all those things. Now, something else that you could take out as well, and I know a lot of people don't like these anymore, but we grew up with them, tinned sardines. Now, sardines, full of protein. Tinned salmon, again, full of protein. And you can just mash that up with a fork into a puree. You can even get these little blender things that are portable that you can take with you as well. So there's many ways that you can make that food into a puree and give good nutrition as well, Kelly. I think chia puddings are great. I think quinoa flakes, great idea as well. Quinoa flakes, you've got protein in there and you've got low GI carb. So I'll be looking at those sort of things. Lentil dishes, yeah, absolutely. Those sort of things are not going to have the issue with heat as what rice will do, or chicken, etc. But I think if you're looking at things in tins that are in either spring water or in olive oil, that's probably the best way to go. But test these things before you go. I think they're the best ways when you're out and about. And chia puddings, absolutely agree, Kelly. I think those sort of things, things with maybe the coconut cream. So we need to again think about the full fat thing. Taking baby porridge out with you, and yeah, they're the ways that I would go forward. Now for breakfast, you can make sure that you had maybe some eggs. If the place where you're staying does scrambled eggs, as long as they're fully cooked, and you've given eggs before you go. But they're all things that you can give, and you can increase fat into food by adding butter into it as well. But if you look at the blog I've got on no cook purees, even the humble baked bean. And I know some of them have sugar and salt in, but we're talking that you're going away for maybe 1 to 2 weeks. So they're the ways that I would be going forward. I'll be looking at wheat bix. I'll be looking at taking some porridge out, some rice with you, some baby rice. I'll be looking at taking some avocado, or buy the avocado there. Tinned salmon, tinned sardines, and grated cheese, etc. I'd also be looking at the humble baked bean, lentils, chia puddings, and coconut cream. So they're all things that you can use that are not going to cause an issue in a hot climate. If anybody's got any ideas out there, then send them my way. So I would really appreciate it for help, Kelly. So I hope that's helped you, Kelly, and given you a few good ideas there. Now I'm coming on to next a poo question. So Karen loves potty training and poo questions. As a nurse and midwife, bodily fluids are really high up there on my list of stuff. I regularly ask about poo, look at nappies, talk about poo, wee, etc. It's part of my daily conversation piece. Oh, it's such a glamorous job, isn't it? So, this is for Sally and Beatrix, who's 3.5 years old. And she's going to look at for potty training help for Miss 3.5. She's been wee trained successfully during the day. Yay for Beatrix and the wee training. Since May last year, but refuses to use the potty or toilet with special seat for number 2s. We've tried sticker reward charts after a few months, bribery, asking nicely, putting the potty in different places around the house, sitting with her, leaving her alone, etc. She's twice gotten to 4 or 5 stickers and then gone months and months, like 6 to start with. Then I think we are up to about 2 months now, needing only 1 sticker to get a present but no dice. I've also tried just not giving her a nappy, but she can hold on for days, like 3+, and she isn't sleep continent, so she can wait until nap or bedtime. Oh! She also won't do one out in public or at childcare. I think there's even some adults that are a lot like this, so I don't think it's unusual that kids don't do things outside. I think we all have our little special places where we like to do our number 2s, not to go into any detail, but I think it is a very personal thing, and obviously Beatrix, you know, she's like a lot of adults. I've also tried wearing the wet bed for nap time to see if I could force the issue when we had small success a few months ago, but again didn't help. So if you have any magic tips we could try, we would be most appreciative. Thank you, Sally. Excellent, Sally. So I think that's a great question. So number 2s are a massive problem, and if you get potty training wrong, and particularly with number 2s, then you end up with this thing called, with this poo holding on, that's called echoparesis. So it is awful, and literally poo gets backed up till sometimes kids are only pooing once a month, and I'm not joking, that is actual fact, once a month. So they get so impacted that they just, psychologically, they just manage to hold on to this poo and not make themselves go to the loo, and they're able to somehow control their body to stop it from happening, and they get so impacted that it actually can't come out, and then it's the fear of going to the loo when it's so painful. So we need to look at really carefully as to how we manage this. Now, because she's been wee trained nearly over a year ago now, I took like 9 months ago, I would be going straight to the pants or no pants, and I would put a week aside at home if you can do, and I would say to Beatrix, this is what's going to be happening, and from now on there's going to be no nappy except when you need to use the toilet for number 2s. I'm going to explain in a moment what exactly I'm on about. So we're going to use some behavioural psychology to sort this out, because we need to work a way around the problem, and this is, again, it's about attunement, because once we do this with toddlers, as you know, big trouble. And I know Beatrix very well. I sleep trained her when she was about 8 months old, so I know how hard Beatrix is. Beatrix is a child that refused to lie down in the cot and actually fell asleep standing up. And I had to lie her poor mummy on the floor in the mid of winter on a really cold night, and the draft was coming through the floorboards because Beatrix refused to lie down at any cost. There was just no movement from Beatrix. So she's pretty hardcore, but I know a lot of hardcore children, and we have to work a way around this problem. So I would tell her what the deal is, and star charts, reward charts, I'm not too keen on, Sally. I think they lose sort of motivation with them. I think they get over them. I don't think it's instant enough reward. I think they need an instant reward when they've been to the loo for a number 2. So I'd be looking at choosing some special panties for her. I would look at also deciding, are you going to use the toilet or are you going to use the potty? I'll choose to one place. I would not move it around the house. You might have a potty in one part of the house and the toilet in the other part of the house. And I would try and have a week mainly at home if you can do, particularly around the time when they do their number 2s. Now most kids do their number 2s in the morning when their gut starts to work. So it's often with, when they first wake up in the morning, that's when it's more likely to happen. I'd also be looking at giving some parachoc, so giving a laxative for a week or 2, just to make this poo really soft, because if the poo's really soft, it has to come out, okay? I'd also be looking at increasing the fibre in the diet, so then she cannot get constipated no matter what. So I'd be looking at lentils, chickpeas, pulses, beans. I'd be looking at wheat bix, really increasing that fibre, so important. Yes, fruit and veg will help. I'd look at putting pear into everything, maybe even prunes as well. So I want it to be really sort of loose-ish, her poo, not like diarrhoea, but loose enough so she cannot get constipated, it's impossible. So we're going to go fibre, fibre, fibre. We're going to avoid all white things that week. So no bananas, no cheese, no white rice, no white pasta, no white bread. All those things will constipate, so we need to avoid all those things. Everything will be wholemeal. And I would also be looking at increasing the fluid in her diet, so lots of liquid. And if we need to do that through sorbet, through ice cream, etc., that's ways, and sort of smoothies, that's ways that you can get extra fibre in. Also, you could put chia seeds into a smoothie for her, because chia's got lots of fibre in too. I'll be giving coconut and chia puddings as well. So I'll be really upping that fibre with all those things, and the parachoc. So if she doesn't like parachoc, some other laxative that you get from the pharmacy, but I would really work on this gut that she cannot absolutely get constipated. So what we're going to do is look at a reward system for when she does go to the potty or the toilet for this number 2. So I'd look at using a step if you're doing the toilet. Now children have this real fear of falling down the toilet, and that's where this poo holding on thing comes from. So they think that their bottom and everything is going to fall down this massive cavern, and I guess to a 3.5-year-old it's pretty big space, is that, between their body and the water. So you might even want to practice just putting things, you know, down the toilet that could belong down the toilet and get flushed away and wouldn't, you know, affect the environment. Just to show her that nothing bad happens, that nothing, you know, watching it flush away. So doing a little bit of a game with that. But what I'll be doing is each week breaking this down into little baby steps, and I would not be going back to the nappy apart from when she uses the toilet. So week 1, she will sit on the toilet with the nappy on, and every time she does a poo on the toilet with the nappy on, you give her a piece of chocolate. Now I know we're in the PC days of no sugar, but when it comes to number 2s and poo holding on, I'm sorry, but it's chocolate all the way, because you want an instant reward. As mums, as parents, how do you feel when you've had a little bit of chocolate? You feel good, and particularly if it's been a reward for something that you've worked hard to do. And I think Beatrix deserves a nice little piece of chocolate as a reward. So you've got to find something that Beatrix is going to work for, some sort of chocolate she's going to work for, or some sort of reward she's going to work for, but it's got to be an instant reward. The thing with star charts and reward charts is that reward is too far in the future, and they just get apathy. They go, a week to get a reward, I've got to get one more sticker? Oh, please. And they go, it isn't worth it. It isn't worth waiting for that one more sticker to get whatever. By then they're just over the reward. Whereas instant rewards, and I'm not big into doing food rewards usually, but I think number 2s are a pretty special sort of event, and we don't want to get that wrong. So I would be giving chocolate, or whatever other little special treat will float Beatrix's boat and get her doing this. So week 1, nappy on the toilet, make a big deal of it, labelled praise, go, yay Beatrix, well done, hey, high five, fist pump. And you've done a great job, and Mummy's so proud of you for doing your number 2s, your poos on the toilet. Oh, what a big girl you are, you're getting so grown up now. Then the second week, I would sit her on the toilet, but loosen the nappy tabs a little bit, okay? Week 3, I would loosen the nappy even further, so the tabs are nearly undone, so it feels quite loose on that toilet. Week 4, put the nappy inside the toilet bowl. Week 5, have it down to the waterline. Week 6, no nappy. So it's similar to where I do my parental presence. It's like anything I do. It's like a staged approach, and it's best done over a period of 6 weeks. If you do it much quicker than that, it tends to literally bite you on the bottom, and that's the last thing you want with number 2 training. So I'll be doing a staged approach. I'll be looking at laxatives, I'll be looking at high fibre diet, I'll be looking at labelled praise, and I think you'll get there. I get this all the time. It is a really common question, Sally, and I've not had this fail. So Beatrix, don't let me down, girl, okay? And let me know how you go, Sally. But that's what we need to do. We need to take the matter in hand, and this is what we're doing, okay? Because Beatrix, she's a very intelligent girl who should get out of a situation she would do, but we have to work our way around the problem, because doing this with Beatrix, as you found, Sally, trouble, big trouble. So that's the way I'd go. So let me know how you go. Right, Suzanne and Joseph. We have another strong personality contender here. I got a few frequent flyers that do some interesting things now and again. So Suzanne doesn't have Facebook, but she's going to look at somebody else's Facebook to watch this. Yay. That's okay, Suzanne. I understand. Right, it's Jophie again. This is little Joseph. After being cleared for sleep apnea, we think his constant waking up at night is behavioural. I totally agree, Suzanne. This little boy has a habit of derailing slightly, just likes to do free wheelies and do free wheeling malarkey. He is probably one of the toughest kids I've come across. So sorry, Sally Beatrix, she's not the toughest. So sorry to anybody out there, Michelle with Charlie, I'm sorry, but Charlie's not the toughest. I think Joseph deserves that badge. But Joseph has been fixed and fixed again. So even though he derails slightly now and again because he likes to, then he just needs a bit of pulling, reining back in again, and I think I'm the girl to do this. So, right, she seems to think that he's terrified from his room. We have a soft night light on, but doesn't seem to help. Can you address this issue of toddlers being scared? And I think toddlers around the age of 2, 3, 4, they start to get this imagination that is pretty impressive. And they get it through storybooks that we read to them, through things that they see on TV, on films, on DVDs, etc., just from their own little heads. I remember as a little girl imagining there was something that lived in my wardrobe, and in the walk-in wardrobe we had. No, it wasn't a posh house, we just had a walk-in wardrobe. It was really little, I promise. In the walk-in wardrobe, there was like a little attic opening, and I used to imagine that somebody was going to come out of there at night time and come and get me. Now my sister's had this issue with Freya, and Freya was scared by Mr. Fox. I'm sure she's reading either Fantastic Mr. Fox or Mr. Fox from the Beatrix Potter books. And my sister, Freya, was behind the door one night screaming her head off, "Oh, Mr. Fox is going to come and eat me, he's going to come and get me." And my sister couldn't get in the bedroom because Freya was behind the door sobbing about this fox that was going to come and eat her. So how can we prevent this problem? How can we manage the fear of monsters and being scared at bedtime? Got some great ideas. I think you're going to love these heaps. So I would get a bottle of spray. In that bottle of spray, I put some water and I put some glitter. And on a little label on the bottle of spray, I would put monster spray. And at bedtime, I'd say, right, Jofi, whereabouts are do you think you've got some monsters in your room? What's in this bedroom that's making you scared? You show me where the scaredy things are. And I would spray and go, "See, Jofi? We've sprayed those monsters away with the magic monster spray. All gone." And kids believe this stuff works. It is as simple as something like that. I'm not joking. It really, really does work. And it is magic, literally magic. So I think you're going to like that, Suzanne, because we need to acknowledge that he has this fear, but get rid of it. Be the big brave parent, and say, "Look, I've got the magic stuff here. I've been to the shop and I've found the best spray to get rid of all the things, all the monsters and everything that's making you scared, and I'm going to get it out of your room and it will not be here anymore." I know when I do visits and I put sleep dust underneath pillows, kids really believe this sleep dust is there, and I say it's invisible, you can't see it, you can't touch it, but it's there, it's long lasting. Make a story up about it. But don't, ignore the situation. Now, night lights can be great, I agree, but I like the ones that are on a timer. So there's some great ones in the shops nowadays. And I was in a room the other night doing some sleep training, and when this child cried, the night light came on. So it had a sensor for noise, which I think is amazing. And then after a period of about, 2 or 3 minutes, the light turns itself off. So things on sensors are really important. I wouldn't use night lights that are on there all the time, because that affects melatonin and the kids getting to sleep and staying asleep. So we shouldn't really buy into this, "I need a night light on all the time," because that will cause a sleep problem. And it actually affects the back of the retina. So night lights will actually affect the back of the retina if they're used permanently. So I hope that's helped you, Suzanne. Monster spray is the go. And the night lights are on a timer. I think they work extremely well. But acknowledging that fear, talking about it. But saying, mummy and daddy are going to be so brave, and they're going to get rid of all the things that you're scared about. And I think downplaying it and just saying, we're big and brave, it's going to be okay. And acknowledging. So I hope that's helped you, Suzanne. So I hope you watched some Facebook, and I hope you enjoy Facebook. So hi, Suzanne. So, got a question here from Lauren with Master Hugo. Hugo's one at the end of March. He's currently on 3 bottles a day, 160 to 230 mils varies, and he drinks water from the Wow cup throughout the day. Great, with some help from us tipping it up a bit while he holds it. He's also having 3 good meals: brekkie, lunch and dinner, How do I go about weaning him onto cow's milk and reducing the formula in the bottles? Do we gradually encourage weaning ourselves, or do we wait for him to show signs that he's had enough of formula, his 3 bottles a day? P.S. Hugo now has 67 teeth at the top, which came through in the space of 1 to 2 weeks. Yay! That's a lot of teeth. Now, I love the fact, Lauren, that you think that Hugo is going to show signs that he doesn't want those 3 bottles of milk. It ain't going to happen, love, I'm afraid. So the truth is that you're going to have to take control of this. Now, kids over the age of 1 only need 2 servings of dairy a day. And a serving of dairy is 200 mils of milk. A matchbox size of cheese or a small tub of full-fat yoghurt is not all 3 things. So I'd be taking those milk down just to 1 a day. I'd be giving him a cup and not a bottle. I think it was last week I talked about dental health. Really important. If you get a chance to watch the start of that video, Lauren, please watch it. If you've already watched it, great. But moving from bottles, so important for preventing ear infections, for preventing tooth decay. So bottles should be stopped between 6 and 12 months. So after 12 months, no bottles at all. All milk should go in a sippy cup, a hard spout sippy cup, or a wow cup. So I wouldn't even water it down. Watering down doesn't work. Many parents try that as well. And if you think about it, they're probably having milk on their cereal, and many kids are having cheese and yogurt in their diet, so he's probably getting more than enough. And if we give too much milk, they won't eat their food. So getting rid of that milk, really important. And I think around the age of 1 is a great time to do it, and that's what the guidelines are. So yay, Lauren, hope that's okay and helped you with Hugo. So next we're on to Annabelle with Sienna, who's 4.5 months old. She says, "Hi Karen, I'm wanting some advice for night times. Sienna is 4.5 months old, exclusively breastfed on Losec for reflux. After your consult, we successfully removed the dummy and she now self-settles for all day naps and most of the time for 7 p.m. sleep. So thank you. Well done on taking the dummy away. Seriously, well done. At night, she's still waking 3 to 4 times and I feed her as I don't want to wake our toddler or dad in our small apartment. And I think this happens an awful lot. I think it's really common as to, you know, we're frightened of waking people up. Children, our other halves, etc. I don't think she needs more than 2 feeds as she has great weight gain and doesn't always take a full feed when she wakes in the morning. Sienna is not yet on solids, but I'm going to start soon. She has 2 1 to 2 hour naps during the day, then 1 30 to 45 minute nap around 4:30. This sometimes doesn't happen. Any advice would be great. So I would look at doing some resettling here. So last night with these twins, these 6-month-old twins, I resettled them probably about 3-4 times and we only gave them 2 feeds. So they woke at about 10:30 and little girl actually wasn't hungry at all. So we picked her up, she went completely quiet. Little boy, however, when we picked him up, he carried on roaring and I knew that he was hungry by the sound of his cry. But he needs to start food and Mum knows this. So yes, kids at this age, at 4.5 months of age, only need to have 2 feeds at night time. 3 or 4 feeds, that's moving into the territory where maybe that needs resettling. Some people might not agree with me on this, but this is what I know that most babies need, is only 2 feeds at night time. If you're doing more and it's not a problem for you, then it's not a problem for me either, so I'm not going to go there. But however, if you want to remove those feeds, then yes, I'll absolutely help you. So what you do is you wait for 3 minutes of constant crying, then go to them and resettle with the hands-on technique. So go in, put your hand on the chest and say, "Night night Sienna, sleepy time," and just sit there by the side of her and pretend you're asleep, okay? And you sit there basically until she's asleep. Pick her up when she gets hysterical, back down again, and you keep on doing this until she's asleep. Try not to do too many cuddles as the week goes on. So cuddles on night 1, but as the week goes on, no cuddles, and try not to talk to her at all. Because the more you do, the more you say, the more trouble you'll end up with. If she's quite stressed when you're trying to resettle her, just stroke down her legs a little bit like you do with baby massage. So you'll see on the baby massage book in the video that I have how I do Indian milking. This is how I manage the sleep when the babies are stressed as well. It's about taking stress away from the heart. And it's a very rhythmic movement. So it's not like patting, no patting obviously. And as the week goes on, stop the stroking down the legs because they don't need it, it'll become like the pat. So really just wait 3 minutes, constant crying, go in, hand on and resettle. And most babies only protest a bit for 15-20 minutes. Most babies are actually not really hungry, and you're totally right, it just becomes habit. They wake, we feed. They wake, we feed until they learn to cry, and then it just becomes part of what they do. So taking it away is actually not as hard as what you think it is, and it'll take about a week to get on top of this, but certainly by night 5 it should be pretty easy by then. So that is what I would do. I think the naps during the day are amazing. I think you've done really well. And some of this waking could be as a result of the dummy still. There's some behaviour still left from there, and so the dummy has become the feed, which needs resettling and sorting out. But it won't be that bad, Annabelle, so I promise. So I hope that's helped you there. Next I come to Phoebe and Luca. So Phoebe sent me a little question on Messenger on Facebook. So a few weeks ago I came to see you at the chemist in Bondi about my terrible little sleeping boy Luca, who's 5 months old. I'm sure the sleeping was terrible, not the boy. So you suggested I get rid of the dummy. I haven't managed to do this yet, but we are making slow progress as I'm now only feeding once a night, usually around 12 or 1 a.m. Luca is still wakeful, but particularly so after 3 a.m. It takes me over an hour to resettle him in the cot. He does go back to sleep after I sit there with my hand on his chest, but it takes forever. Do you think this is still a dummy issue? Because I haven't been able to resettle him without crying much at all. I haven't totally taken it away from him, but if you think this will help, then I'm willing to give this a go. I'd love to hear your thoughts. He settles well to sleep with it in the day and at bedtime around 6 to 6:30, but is then awake at 9, 12, 3 to 4, sometimes at 5 or even 6:30, and he sleeps till 6:30 or 7. I'm thrilled that I'm only feeding once as opposed to 3 times in the night. However, I'm still getting up far too many times than I would like. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So I replied back to Phoebe today, but I totally agree that this is still dummy. So what happens is, it's like I said at the start of this Facebook Live, we move from the control pattern of the dummy, the boob in the mouth, the patting, the rocking, to then we're doing other things. So we need to really take all these things away and just do something that baby can actually resettle themselves with, which is, is themselves, basically. So we need to teach proper self-settling, and when you're using a dummy, that is interfering with that process. And after 4 months of age, dummies are a big problem because they push them out with the extrusion reflex, and that's why they can't keep them in. So up to 4 months of age, dummies may not be a problem, but after 4 months of age, most dummies are not your friend. And I very rarely hear of a dummy that's working properly and is staying in all the time. So any repeated night waking, and I would settle without the dummy and resettle without, and just take it away completely. Unfortunately, there's no really easy way to get rid of a dummy apart from just take it away. But however, it only takes 1 night to remove a dummy and for that baby to forget about it. So it really is only 1 night. So when I do overnight stays, by morning, that dummy has been forgotten about. Do not worry about any crying. Like I said, it's about getting rid of emotion. And when a baby is allowed to cry and vent, we help them, we cuddle them, we're with them, we put our hand on them, but we're not stopping them from crying. And that's when sleep and it becomes toxic, and how we manage emotion becomes toxic. So keeping that emotion inside that baby is actually the worst thing that we can actually do. Allowing that baby to have an emotion when they need to move on with something is so vital. So you're actually doing your baby a big favour there, Phoebe, by actually taking that dummy away. It is not the negative you think it is. So when babies cry, they get rid of stress. When we put dummies in, it internalises stress. It keeps things inside. So let things out, let it happen, and that baby will be a much happier baby, and you'll be a much happier mummy as well. And I think to get more sleep is just, it is crucial. Because like I said, I know how I feel last night after these twins, and I didn't get much sleep, and it was broken sleep on somebody's couch. And I should look totally wrecked today. I think I probably do, but hopefully the makeup has hidden it all. But just an hour ago, I was like feeling like death warmed up, thinking, how am I going to do this Facebook Live? It is really hard getting broken sleep. So I think it is a very good thing you're doing. It is not selfish at all, Phoebe. It is self-care. A mummy who is sleeping, getting enough rest, produces more milk anyway, and a mummy who's sleeping is able to look after a baby better in the day and look after her own needs better in the day. So I'm all for babies sleeping to help everybody. All right, so last but not least, we have Becky. So hi, Becky. Oh, I've got to go to Renee Elizabeth, sorry. So not last but not least, sorry. Becky. Hi, Karen. I came to see you at Basker's with my then 4-month-old and you gave some fab settling tips. However, we are still struggling with the late day nap. He is now 5.5 months old and will sleep between 1.5 to 2 hours in the morning and afternoon. The problem is he wakes up from the afternoon nap between 2 and 3 p.m. and most of the time he won't do a third late day nap at 4:30, so he ends up massively overtired by the time bedtime comes around. At 6:30, and will fall asleep feeding at 6 o'clock and then wake up 45 minutes later as he's fed to sleep and just screams. So I can't wait to get him to self-settle to sleep on these days as he just screams the house down. I've tried bringing bedtime forward, but he will fall asleep feeding anyway as he's tired. I'm guessing he needs this late nap, so do I just keep trying to get him to do it, or should I just bring bedtime early but not feed him? Just try to get him to self-settle. So what to do? So that's a great question, Becky, and it is a really common problem at this age, at 5.5 months of age, because they're in this transition period between 3 naps and 2 naps. So 3 naps are too much, 2 naps aren't enough. So we need to look at how we manage him that day, absolutely. So what I would do, Becky, is the morning nap, I'd make it a short nap. I'd make it no more than 1 hour. And it's not mean to wake a baby, okay? Because what we want him to do is we want that baby to have a longer sleep. Okay? Right, so we want the baby to have a longer sleep in the afternoon. If we do a long sleep in the morning, to get the chance of getting them down in the afternoon for a good 2 hours is remote. So there's a reason why short morning nap, long afternoon nap. And I'll be doing up to 2 hours in the afternoon, so an hour in the morning, up to 2 hours in the afternoon, and I'd resettle for that as well. I've been looking at giving these foods high in tryptophan. I know I always talk about tryptophan, but I love tryptophan. It is my favourite word, and it is on the blog. So foods high in tryptophan, low glycemic index, lots of high fat in that diet as well. So for example, a meal that would tick all the boxes would be chicken, would be sweet potato or pumpkin, and then I would put some dried apricot or some pear in there, and then I'd put some either grated cheese or some butter in there or some cream in there, because that way you've got protein, high tryptophan as well, you've got carbohydrate, low glycemic index, you've got some fruit to help the gut and stop them getting constipated, and then you've also got some fat that's going to help those that brain grow and that sleep happen. And you can put some other vegetables in there, some zucchini or some green veg, whatever you want to put in there. But I would be looking at giving those foods an hour before that nap. For breakfast example, I'll be giving wheat bix or porridge oats an hour before that nap is supposed to happen. And putting some banana in there as well. You can put some chia in there as well if you want to make extra fibre. But I'll be looking at high tryptophan, low GI. But 1 hour in the morning, 2 hours only in the afternoon. I would not do a third nap in the afternoon. And I don't allow a sleep, certainly after 6 months of age, past 4 o'clock. So I would avoid that last little power nap then, Becky. I think it's more that we need to get that long day nap happening in the afternoon. And we need to look at how we're settling then and resettling. So resettling is important. Nobody likes it, but it's about the message we're giving to the baby that you should have done more. So once they've woken up at 40 minutes to an hour, then again wait 3 minutes, go in and resettle. And you can choose how you resettle, and that might be something that you can talk to me about, Becky, or you try. So whether you do a check-in method, whether you do a hands-on settling, or whether you do parental presence, I think that's your choice really as to which way you go. And that's how I would manage that, Becky. So, but the feeding to sleep, which is a really common problem. So what I would do then is I would, as soon as the baby starts to close their eyes at bedtime at 6, half 6, even if they've not had a full feed. I know mums panic about this, but they're going to wake up all night, Karen. They're not going to, be okay. But I would actually take them off before those eyes close and that breathing changes, and then put them down awake in the cot and settle as you would usually. So that is the key to all of this: is short morning nap, long afternoon nap. Don't feed to sleep. Put down awake in the cot. Take them up even if they've not had a full feed. And looking at your foods high in tryptophan, low GI carbs, and high fat. And that's the way that I would be going with that, Becky, and doing resettling for your day naps as well. So hopefully that has helped you. Now I think I've got Renee Elizabeth. Got one question more to answer. Okay. Oh, no, I've got 3 more. I think I can squeeze them in. So Renee Elizabeth says, my twins are hating bath time. We have bubbles and toys and have tried doing it earlier thinking they're too tired, but most nights it's a battle getting them to stay in long enough to have a good wash. Any tips? Do you get in with them, Renee? Because I think that is what I would do. I wouldn't actually bath them. I would actually get in with them and do the bath with them. And you know, the mum last night, she actually had a high chair by the side of the bath, and then she put one of them into the high chair, and that's how she managed her twins. It worked really well, and that way you can keep yourself safe and your twins safe. But that is what I would be looking at doing. Sometimes it is overtired that's causing the problem. Do they do swimming and things like that? What about a shower? So I'd also try a shower as well. So okay, occasionally I do go in, yep. What about doing a shower as well? But I'd limit the time that you do it, and over a period of a few weeks, gradually increase that time limit, and praise them when they've actually been in the bath, and say, wow, you had a great bath tonight. Mummy is so proud of you for doing such a great bath and getting yourself clean and squeaky clean. Even coming up with a little song and little story around this bath time stuff. Reading a story about bath time, so it just becomes part of the normal thing. Or having bath time at a different time of the day. You know, is it better to do it in the morning? Is it better to do some other time of the day? Do they need to have a bath every night? So they're all things I'll be thinking about, Renee Elizabeth. So I'm definitely jumping in with them. If they hate the bath, I'll be looking at the shower. I'll be looking at doing stories and songs and everything, and just limiting that time and building it up over a period of a few weeks. Because again, the behavioural psychology thing, over 4 to 6 weeks, you can gradually increase tolerance of an activity. And labelled praise. So I hope that's helped you, Renee, so let me know how you go. But they're the things that I would be doing. Okay, and Bree. Hello, Bree. Hello, amazing lady, she says. Hello, amazing lady, likewise, Bree. Any tips on toilet training of my little man? We have been sitting him on the toilet every night before bath time for a couple of months, and if we ask him to do a wee, he will go. He will also do a number 2 if we get him at the right time. He's not actively telling us when he needs to go, though. Does this mean he's not ready? Yes, it does, unfortunately, Bree. So it sounds like you're just getting him on opportunity. Most kids are not ready till the age of 2.5, 3, 3.5, and boys are often ready later. So I'll be looking at when he tells you that he needs to go. Because if he's telling you that he's going, then, and I think this is just, and if we ask him to do a wee, he will go. So he's not quite got it there quite yet. So once they're ready and they can tell you, then just go for it over a week or 2, and you should get success there. So hopefully that little bit at the start of the Facebook Live helped you, because I covered the number 2 problem there and how avoiding number 2's problems. Okay, Amy. Hello, last question for Amy now. So, hi Amy. So, new little baby called Maddie. Should I be stimulating Maddie with playtime after a feed, even though she's only a week old? After feeds, she just goes straight back to sleep. Day seems okay, but nights like last night, she was very hard to settle, and it was a very long night. So, yes, I actually would. I would start tummy time from a week old. And what I would do is I'd put her over a rolled up towel. So on my face, not on my Facebook, this Karen with lack of sleep, she thinks everything's Facebook. No, on my YouTube there is a video on there on how to get your baby to enjoy tummy time. And putting a rolled up towel underneath the front can be really, really helpful, getting on the floor with them. And just doing it gradually, doing little bits often. So I'll be doing it maybe 4 to 6 times a day, and just a few minutes each time. So gradually, by about 6 weeks old, she's able to do a decent length of time. So it's like anything, babies need a little bit of exercise to earn their bed. And if we don't give them enough uptime and playtime, then this is what can happen at night time. So I hope that's helped you, Amy, and I hope otherwise things are going really well. But new babies, they're never very straightforward. And I'd have a little look at my book, Amy, Helping a New Mum, I Don't Know What to Do. I'm sure you've got it already, but if you haven't, I think it's a great read. But there's lots of information on how to get babies to enjoy tummy time, so we'll dig some of that stuff out for you there. So all cool for this week. So competition to win the baby massage book and a video for a friend. You just have to like this video and just click on the like or the love heart. We love some love hearts on this Facebook Live. So love hearts are key this week. We're all giving out the love. And also, if you like Nurture Parenting's Facebook page, and then you go into the draw to win the baby massage book and the video. So click away and love hearts all the way. Like if you want to, but Karen she'd love some more love hearts, please. She's had a tough week. And I will see you again next week. So I hope you have a fabulous week. I hope the week is kind to you, and I hope your babies are all sleeping amazingly. So bye from Karen, and kisses. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Love everywhere. Bye.